Hey Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every weekday. Pod Up, because we are Gator fans. So say it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Good morning, and we've made it, folks, to a Friday edition of Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to carry. Got a lot to talk about today. Obviously, we'll talk Masters. Gators get hammered by the Hogs in Game 1 last night, 8-1. They'll try to battle back the next 2 days, see what they can do. Don't forget, Alabama rolls into town Saturday, Sunday, Monday in softball. What else? There was something else I had to mention. It'll come to me here in a minute. But in the meantime, in today's program, we have JC. We'll talk sports and the Masters. We'll also have Edgar Thompson get his thoughts from spring practice. He's also a big golf guy, so we'll get his thoughts yesterday, obviously. Good morning, JC. You're on the Titan MR hotline. Hey, how's your hotline working?
We did well so far. We're looking pretty good with our picks. My asterisk guy is right there at 1 under. Had Joaquin Neiman. You had Cameron Smith. Did you have Cameron Smith? You did, right?
Of course I do. I pick him. He's my guy, dude. And
I had Dustin Johnson. And, right there's two guys in the top three. And then you had Cameron Smith. Who else did you take, QB?
Well, I got Xander, who's right there. Koepka, who blew up on the back nine.
Yeah,
but I will say this: in our Masters pool, is where I really have good picks, because I had Daniel Berger and I had Sung Jae Im, who is leading the tournament. By the way,
you have the 24-year-old South Korean. I actually had a friend yesterday, and this is a true story. A friend yesterday texted me and asked if Sung Jae was from either North Korea or South Korea. And last time I checked, the poor people of North Korea are just trying to find something to eat. I know they don't have golf academies.
No golf in North. So we got a bunch of people here. Obviously, Tiger had a phenomenal day yesterday.
For real. I
think it was great what Tiger did. But if you analyze, which we do on sports talk shows, just like we do after a quarterback plays or a team plays, Tiger was fortunate to shoot 1 under par. He only hit 9 greens. He got up and down for par and made putts. You can't make a living doing that. Now, he may do it again today, or he may hit some greens today, but it was a stressful, very stressful 1 under par.
Yeah, the putting he had yesterday was, the birdie on 16 to me told me that he's going to be. I think he's going to make the cut. Now, I hear what you're saying with some of the shots he hit off the tee. Those shots could easily have created double bogeys, and he would have shot
easily. He got so many bounces off trees back out to the edge of the fair rough. So, look, it was outstanding. I don't know. I still don't. I guarantee you he woke up this morning in pain. But it was just great for golf, great for sports fans. The people that don't watch golf, obviously they watched him. I didn't care too much for the shirt he wore. I'm not a mock turtleneck kind of guy on a golf course, but that's what he did, and Nike must be trying to sell those. Joseph says that drop where they called it temporary water was kind of BS well, it must have been casual water, which means if you're standing in water, your ball is in where you, like if you just put a little bit of weight, if they see any little bit of water there, you do get relief. So Andy asked what is needed today to make the cut. We won't know. The Masters, I want to say, is a different format and cut. It's the 10 shots from the lead. Isn't that what it is, JC?
That sounds that sounds like something that I remember. But you also have to have a minimum number of players, and I don't know if that number is in the 50s or what it is. But some of these scores were high, QB. I was kind of surprised at Koepka shooting a 41 on the back. I was surprised at how much these guys struggled.
Koepka did some of the dumbest stuff I've ever seen. First of all, he missed literally 2 putts for par. They were 2.5 feet that he tried to ram in the back of the hole and went by 10 feet. it was just he did not play well on the back. I expect him to play much better today. But what's crazy is I read somewhere where the two top scoring, and I could be wrong, I may have read this wrong, but who would you say the two top players on tour that have the highest scoring average or lowest scoring average or whatever?
Well, what is it? Highest? You're talking about.
Well, I'm saying who has the best scoring average, I should just say, on tour. Average.
Well, I mean, I'm just guessing.
You'll never guess. Well, one guy's leading the tournament.
Okay, well, there you go.
Sanjay M. and Matthew Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, well, all of that is great.
All that England is a very good player.
Yeah, but I was surprised at all the scores over par. That we had rain at the course. The rough is not high. The greens were not that difficult. They weren't that fast, I don't think. And, they did not – the par fives are – those are birdie holes. You birdie those or else you lose a stroke to the –
Cam Smith birdied one par five.
I know. So it
had 8 birdies.
Yeah, well, okay. But as well as I do, 13, 15, those are birdie holes. And I think, it just surprised me because they had rain there. I mean, they had lots of rain. It was pretty heavy. But they said – Scheffler said, he flat out said, listen, the course, the fairways, they're firm. They're firmer than he thought they would be, especially after the rain. So all that means is that with the weather we're having here in north central Florida, they're going to have up there, and it's going to get harder, I think.
I didn't think it was raining at all the rest of the week in Augusta.
No, I'm saying the weather we're having here is going to be the weather they're having up there. It's going to be bright, sunny, and dry.
Oh,
so that's going to should be making it more challenging, but it's already pretty challenging. I mean, these are not low scores we're seeing. So,
John says he doesn't follow golf. He didn't realize Hudson Swafford was on tour. He played baseball in Tallahassee. He was a great high school golfer, though, at Maclay. Yeah, you know what? There's some good stories like that. Gary Woodland, who is on the PGA Tour, has won the U.S. Open, started his career playing college basketball.
Okay,
and then switched to play golf. Real quick, JC, Major League Baseball opening day was yesterday. The Gators had 11 players on the Major League rosters, second most nationally and in the SEC. Do you know who's first?
In the SEC.
No, this is nationally. So we're second in the SEC and nationally having the most players. So whoever has the most is in the SEC. I don't know who it is. I read the article, but they never told me who it was. I'm going to guess.
Yeah, I would say so, especially with the pitching. Yeah, pitchers. You got the shortstop for the Braves that started at Vanderbilt. That's a good call. Opening day yesterday to me meant about as much as watching these guys walk up and down the fairway here at Hawkstone. I mean, it's opening day to me is so removed from anything important because the season will go until mid-October, and that sounds like a very, very long time. And we're going to find out who's got it, midway through the season. I mean, I know it's a traditional day, opening season. Yeah, baseball started. It's one game. So, I mean, it means just as much as some anonymous random game in May, late May or June or July. And I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer on baseball. I mean, I'm glad they're playing. They went through some real difficult labor negotiations, but man, the Braves lost last night. Okay, well, I think we'll be okay. I really do.
We got a text here on the Titan More text line. It's from Ryan. He says, "Happy Friday, fellas. Well, Shane, your Cam Smith pick fared a little better on day one than your South Dakota State Jackrabbits. Apparently, he made good shots. He played well, but he's the first player in the history of the Masters to have a double bogey on number 1 and a double bogey on 18, and he still had 8 birdies. I mean, he's a phenomenal player.
Imagine if they win. Imagine if he wins QB, that'll be 2 years in a row that the Champions Dinner will be of Oriental flavor.
From Australia?
Some JM is from Korea.
We were talking about Cam Smith.
Well, I must be hearing something wrong. I thought you said M.
Yeah. No, okay. Cam Smith had a double bogey on number 1 and double bogey on 18. First player in the history of the Masters to do that. and shoot what he shot. Speaking of shots, Arkansas had a few of those last night, and I'm fearing the wrong end of another sweep for the Mighty Gators. Hope I'm wrong, but it looks like it's going to be a long-suffering April with Tennessee and Vandy on deck.
No.
Yeah, it was bad last night.
So what happened? Who did Barco pitch?
Yeah, it was 3-0 going into like the seventh. I was watching it, flipping back and forth between that and golf, and then Arkansas hit a couple home runs late.
Yeah. Well, we said
the Arkansas number 2 team in America. Yeah, they are outstanding.
They are. We said the Hogs are going to come in here and score all day long, and if they're not going to win with Barco pitching, forget it. They're going to get swept unless something strange happens.
All right, so we got a text here on the Titan MR text line, and it comes from Jimmy. Jimmy said, "Hey guys, I know y'all like to talk golf, so my question is for JC. Who is the most famous person you've ever played a round of golf with?"
Johnny Miller and Lee Trevino, Steve Spurrier, and Shane Matthews.
Well, hang on a second. When in the hell did you play with Johnny Miller and Lee Trevino?
I sure as hell did at the Office Depot.
You did?
At the Office Depot Father-Son Challenge. Also played with Bob Stoops. I played with and some politicians. But Johnny Miller and Lee Trevino, I was in the Pro-Am, and I got to play with both those guys before the Office. It used to be called the Office Depot Father-Son Challenge in Orlando at Champions Gate. And that I've got the picture of that. It was in 2003. And I was invited because a friend of mine was a high executive in Office Depot at the company before it turned into Office Max or whatever. But it was quite a treat. And Johnny Miller told me some really cool things. I mean, I think I got more out of what I heard from Johnny Miller than I did from Lee. But Lee Trevino was more he seemed to have a little bit more fun out there. But Miller was very serious, and he really said some interesting things. And I guess one of them was about, I asked him, I said, how do you become a pro golfer? I just simply said that. Like, what do you have to do to be a pro golfer there, Johnny? And he said, you have to make putts inside of 10 feet more than 50% of the time. And you have to be able to hit a shot from 160 into a green inside or at 10 feet consistently to be a pro golfer. And those were the two things he told me. And, one of the greatest Masters that was ever played was in 1975 when him and Weiskopf and Jack Nicklaus went at each other on the back nine when they used to really only show 9 holes of the Masters. Think about this, QB. Back in the day, you only got to watch the back 9 of the Masters, and it started at 4:00 on Sunday. So I remember at 75, Jack had this green striped shirt, and Weiskopf eagled number 15. Johnny Miller was in the fairway. Weiskopf eagled number 15, and Jack was on the green on 16, and he saw that eagle because the proximity of 15's green and 16 hole, the par 3, is virtually right next to each other. And then Jack rolled in a putt from about 45, 50 feet uphill, and for birdie to go to 12 under par, and that was the deciding birdie because he won it by 1 stroke over Weiskopf and Miller at 12 under, and it was one of the best Masters of all time, 1975.
Rosario State Farm office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right. The right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ogreinsurance.com. or give them a call at 352-240-1779. Speaking with JC on the Titan MR hotline, we'll have Edgar Thompson from the Orlando Sentinel join us after JC. I know we're talking a lot of golf today. A lot of people don't like that, but the Masters to me is the greatest sporting event out there. It's the only sporting event that I cannot get away from the TV, JC. I'm that guy that watches every shot of the telecast. Because it's the most beautiful place on earth, and it's mesmerizing to me for some reason.
Well, when they let more people in like they're doing these days, when the practice rounds become almost as crowded as the tournament, when you get to watch all 18 holes, and then when you get to actually go and relive what you saw and where you walked when you see it on TV, it just makes it better, right? You've been 4 or 5 times. I've been 4 times. I'm getting more and more people texting me pictures from Augusta. They're texting me pictures from Augusta showing that they've been able to go because of either the lottery or some corporate entertainment invited them and so forth. And it's just gotten bigger and more open to the world. And that, to me, is what's made it more popular because, again, back in the day, they had minimal galleries. Even though they were big, they were nothing like they are today. And you only got to watch the back nine. Dude, I didn't even know about the front nine until I walked in there and I looked at those holes and I thought to myself, we never saw number one and how massive that dip is walking in, and number 5 and how crazy that green is on number 5, where literally it's like a 10-foot slope from the front end to the top on number 5, right? Nobody talks about number 5. Number 2, the long dog leg left down the hill. I saw Angel Cabrera hit a ball on number 2, and it was one of the furthest shots I've ever seen a guy hit, and it just rolled forever down a hill. It rolled for 100 yards. The same thing happens on number 10. The hole between the hole at 16, the green, and the par 3, number 6, which has got elevated tee down to a green with people sitting on the bank of the slope from the tee box to the green, and then there's this area of pine straw and pine trees and everything. I couldn't believe, how cool that was. And then the slope on 13 on Amen Corner, how that fairway literally just falls straight into a creek, and these guys hit drives onto that slope, and everybody watches that second shot on 13 and says, "Oh, that's an easy little short shot into a par 5." Your feet are below your head. I mean, it's really tremendous. So if you ever get a chance to go, just cancel what you're doing at the time, unless you're going to a funeral, okay? Or you're getting married.
May want to cancel. Still may want to cancel.
Yeah, unless you're going to a funeral, you're getting married, you have to take advantage of just forget about the 5-hour drive or however long it takes you to get there. Forget about all that. You're going to think about so much when you drive back home of what you saw. It's going to be unlike anything you've ever seen on a golf event, and unlike anything. And it doesn't break your wallet. It doesn't break your wallet.
Speaking of 13, they're going to next year, I believe, they've bought some property in the woods back there, and they're going to move the tee box back because that hole's getting they're hitting short irons in there, and that's not the way it was designed. We got a text on the Tatum Art text line. We'll talk a little bit more golf, and we'll switch gears. This comes from Billy. Billy says, "Hey guys, love the show. How much would y'all pay to play Augusta National?"
Oh boy. Well, I guess that all is relative on what your means are, but I don't know. I pay quite a bit. I pay quite a bit because, again, it's a once in a lifetime thing.
Yeah, so, I probably would too.
I guess if it was a number, I'd pay $1,000.
And if I ever get a chance to play there, I'm playing the damn, whether the damn caddy or the members that I'm playing with care, I'm playing it from where, you know what I'm saying?
You're breaking up on me there, QB. I think you said
that's that must be your internet over there at Crowstone.
Okay. Well, okay. You said you would play it from the back. Is that what you said from the tip?
I would, if I ever get a chance to play Augusta. I don't care how old I am. I'm going to play it from the tournament tees, whether they like it or not. I'm going to argue with it, and I don't care what I shoot.
Yeah, I mean, you want to see how you match up. Yeah.
So, Evan, is it Evan? Is it my internet, Evan, or is it JC's internet? It's my internet.
Oh my goodness! The Crowstone internet is not bad. It must be the Arbor Green internet that's so bad.
Well, I don't know. I can hear fine. Y'all was, whatever. Okay. All right. So, JC, we got another text here again, and I mean, I don't know what to tell these people. This comes from Larry. Larry says, "Hey guys, baseball is free falling.
Yeah,
the season. What is going on?"
I couldn't hear that. I think you said something about the baseball season is in free fall.
I said, okay. So basically, Larry said baseball is free falling. The season is over. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know about over, but I know it's sliding fast down the hill that might not be able to recover from. Listen, they're not competitive with teams like LSU and Arkansas. And the SEC is the hardest conference in baseball. And I just did not expect that, QB. I really thought Florida had a lot to look forward to this year. But as it shows, Vanderbilt and Tennessee are going to have to bomb these guys. And Arkansas is as well. I mean, it's the writing's on the wall, bro. They're not going to be able to keep up with these teams. So Kevin's probably in a rebuilding mode. He's got to find some guys that are going to be effective, and he's got to go out there and get some players. I don't know. Do they do transfer portal in baseball too?
Yeah, they do. But hell, I mean, he's got like the #1 recruiting class. It ain't like these guys just walked in off the street. These are highly recruited. I don't know what the heck's going on with the internet. So, hey, let's do this. Can you hear me now, JC?
Yeah, I got you now. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to do This Day in Sports, which is brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Tent. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. Comfort Temp's now hiring team members with all levels of experience. Give them a call, 352-376-2366. In 2018, do you know who won the Masters in 2018, JC?
Yes, it was 2018. That was only 4 years ago. Why doesn't it just pop up in my head? Just tell me, because I know who it was, but I
Okay, so it's the 82nd Masters. Patrick Reed wins his first major, one stroke ahead of Ricky Fowler, who's not even playing this week.
Is Ricky Fowler playing this year? I mean, is he still a professional golfer?
No, he's been in some tournaments. Marcus says here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, you have a problem with your upload. Make sure nothing else on your network is uploading. Marcus, I appreciate that. I don't know what any uploading means. All I do is I turn my computer on and do this show. Ain't nothing else uploading. Do you know what that means, JC?
Well, it means there's stuff that's coming into your device or system. Maybe you should reboot.
Okay, JC, we're going to take a quick timeout. And I want you to stay on for about 5 minutes till Edgar comes on. I'm going to turn my computer off since it's uploading. Restart it. Can we do that, Mr. Producer, or is that not going to work?
You better do something.
Okay, we'll be right back. You're watching it and listening to Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Great Clips, it's gonna be great. Our Gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, South State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Doreen Wiebe Realtor, Caldwell Banker, MM Parish, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Aikido America, Style Cuts, Big Mills Cheesesteaks. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Celebration Points where the Gators go to celebrate. With premium brands like Dave & Buster's, Bass Pro Shops, Hotel Indigo, Medici's, Escape Apology, Kilwins, and the HBC's restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, where you can get 50% off a bottle of wine every Wednesday. We'll see you at Celebration Point where the Gators go to celebrate. JC, you got you a 50% off bottle of wine yet?
No, I'm not a wine drinker, but I will tell you, as negative as I am on the baseball team, I am just that as positive on the softball team. We've got 2 great teams coming in town, folks. So if you get a chance, you got to go watch softball this weekend.
Well, Alabama is outstanding. The Gators, as we know, they lost to Florida State Wednesday night. Was it Wednesday night? Yeah, Wednesday night in extras.
Yeah.
So the softball in the SEC is just it is brutal.
It's crazy.
I mean, it is so brutal.
And
Can you hear me okay now, JC?
Yeah, I got you now. And SEC tournament time will be just thrilling for softball fans here in town because the tournament is in Gainesville, and that's what we've been waiting for years. I'm looking forward to that, but there's a lot of softball to play still. I know Tim doesn't want to think about that. He wants to think about how to beat Alabama. So, you're going to see some really good softball this weekend if you can make it out there.
Before we let you go and get to Edgar, JC, did you see the reports about the Miami Dolphins were supposedly going to hire Sean Payton and take Tom Brady and give him part ownership and all that kind of stuff? But so my question to you is, that all got squashed due to the lawsuit from Brian Flores. What did that have to do anything with it? I don't understand.
I don't know why that has anything to do with it, but I do know they've really loaded up their team with some players in lieu of trading some of these picks they had, which I think makes sense. Tyreek Hill is better than any guy they're going to draft. The Rams have shown that you can win in free agency, get players who are better than anybody you're going to draft, and they did. You have Dan Campbell. I don't know if you saw this story. Dan Campbell, the Lions, he was saying that when he was in Miami, players would show up with alcohol in their breath, drunk at practice. So Brian Flores could sue and do all he wants to do, but there are people out there who would contradict a lot of the things that maybe Brian Flores has to say. But Brian Flores is now in Pittsburgh. The lawsuit's still going on against the NFL, which means he's actually suing his employer. So you tell me if any of this makes sense, but I will tell you this. The Rams lost Von Miller, but they got Bobby Wagner. And that team is going to be a big threat again to win it all this upcoming season. And they're going to sign out. Yeah.
All right, JC, we're going to get to Edgar Thompson. We appreciate you hanging around. We'll recap the Masters on Monday.
Joaquin Neiman, watch that name this weekend, dude. Neiman from Chile. He's a factor.
That's
and Scheffler. Did I pick Scheffler?
No, you didn't.
Oh.
You picked John Rahm, who's struggling.
Oh, thank you. Well, I got Neiman though, and Tiger with an asterisk. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, Tiger better hit some greens today, or it's going to be a long day. He's not going to be able to get up and down like he did 9 times yesterday. That's JC.
Right,
join us on the Titan No More Hotline. We're going.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Great Clips, it's gonna be great. Our Gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, South State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co. Some of our touchdown sponsors are MB Listing, McDonald's of Gainesville, My IT Masters, Gainesville Neon and Signs, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Avera and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Ruse Ogra Agent, State Farm Insurance, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. South State Bank, we understand that small businesses need a community business partner that they can rely on. South State has 4 convenient Alachua County locations. South State Bank, banking forward, member FDIC. I want to thank JC for joining us on the Titan of our hotline and working through our technical difficulties on my internet issues. But hey, we made a halftime adjustment and we went to the call-in service, and we're now going to go to our good buddy, Edgar Thompson. Good morning, Edgar. How are you?
I'm fine, Shane. I can relate completely to what you're going through. Do you have Cox?
I think so. Yes, it's Cox.
It's just been brutal, man. My power twice in the last 2 weeks, my internet's been down for 6 to 8 hour stretches, which makes it impossible.
Not good for a guy in the media, right?
It's put me behind the chains big time a couple of days. Yeah, you should call them. They gave me a nice credit the other day because it's been about 4 times in 2 weeks, but I think they finally got it cured in my neighborhood. So they're probably going to fix it in yours, let's hope, at some point. It's a little ridiculous, but they have a monopoly. Apparently AT&T Fiber's in town, so they better be careful because people are moving into their territory.
Yep, no doubt about it. Edgar, I want to talk golf with you. Me and JC talked a lot of golf, but first let's talk Gator football.
Sure.
Spring game is Thursday night. You've been out there, you've been covering the team. We all know that Coach Napier came out last week after one of the scrimmages and said, hey, we need players. We're going to be active in the portal. Just your thoughts on how the practices have gone so far from what you've seen.
We just don't get to see a lot except right at the beginning. So they look, Anthony looks sharp when he's thrown against error. Let's see how he looks when there's, defenders across the line from him in the scrimmage. One thing I do like is, because that's the big question. I mean, how's Anthony going to play, right? That's what everyone wants to say. It's going to be critical to this team. I mean, he needs to play at I don't want to say star level, but at a high level for this team with that schedule and the deficiencies it has depth-wise and things like that. And really, I do question the playmaking ability on the perimeter. I'm not sure. I don't want to make a blanket judgment there, but I mean, where's the explosiveness on the perimeter? I think they have some big bodies and some capable receivers, but I don't know that I see a real explosive threat out there, particularly like you saw a couple of years ago, with Tony and Pitts and those guys. They were pretty special though. But yeah, I like the format. I like the fact they're going to play a real game. But Billy admit, he was honest about the depth issues. I think that makes a lot of sense. I mean, Dan's recruiting had tailed off considerably, which is one reason he's not here. Not the main reason. It is the main reason he's not here. So
no
he said they're going to be very aggressive, to use his words, in the portal. I mean, he's talking like double-digit guys. They're going to bring in, it's going to be hard to keep up.
Yeah, we need speed, a lot of speed, and I agree with you. I think Anthony does things really well. They'll utilize his ability. I think Jack Miller has shown that he can throw the football. But as anyone knows, to be a decent quarterback, you got to have dudes around you. I like our running backs a lot. I think we're really deep there, but the receiving core is what concerns me. Playmaking abilities, you mentioned, Edgar. So defensively, I still have question marks at a lot of positions there. What has he said? What are your thoughts on the defensive side of the ball?
I think I gleaned from talking to Sean Spencer, the D-line coach, that Jervon Dexter, and you can see a difference in him just physically. I mean, he's gotten in shape. He's leaned down, and he's a big kid, and a lot of potential, not a lot of football experience when he arrived here. I think he feels pretty good about him, and but they need another guy to pair with him who can be consistent. I think Brenton Cox, I mean, he certainly feels he's going to have a big season. He's talking about breaking the sack record. He's talking about getting a sack a half. But
well, let me give him a little advice. You can't do that if you don't play hard every play.
I asked him straight up about setting the edge, because I think that's the big, the thing that he's lacking is that consistency in playing the run. And I just remember the Texas A&M game. I still can't erase that from my mind, the one that really hurt them 2 years ago. I mean, it was Spiller was just running to his side all day. Now, that was a couple of years ago. Last year, he was battling a foot injury that it still doesn't sound like is 100%. He didn't claim to be 100%. And he just needs to get better at that aspect of the game. I'll tell you a guy who's intriguing is DeJuan Black. Now, he was recruited a while back. I'm trying to think what class. He might have been the 19 class, went the JUCO route, came last year, played some special teams. He's standing out in practice at linebacker. Kid was a high school safety at one point, Shane. He had 12 picks and 3 pick sixes as a sophomore in high school. So he has a nose for the ball, and he's making plays when we're over there, the little bit we get to see. The cornerbacks with Marshall, Avery Helms sounds like he's playing pretty well. I'm intrigued by Jalen Kimber, though he's not 100%. He's not non-contact, at least. I mean, he's coming off a shoulder surgery. I'm trying to think of other pieces. I mean, throw some guys at me, but Ventrell Miller being back is a help, right? I mean, he's experienced.
Mm-hmm.
He makes plays. He's tough, leader. Trey Dean, is he going to take a step? I mean, the guy's back for a 5th year. It'd be nice if he did. Rashad Torrance spoke yesterday. I think he's a good player. Real nose for the ball, good tackler, which was in short supply last year for the Gators. And in fact, Bateman, the new inside linebackers coach, Jay Bateman, talked about missed tackles and how he saw those on film a lot. That was an epidemic last year. I think Torrance is pretty good. He's maybe not as fast as you'd like, but I think he's got a lot of things to offer back there. That's just a few names, man. Back to the receivers real quickly, though. I asked Kerry Colbert, who's the new receivers coach, played in the NFL, all-time record. He was a record setter at USC. He's still out there running routes and stuff, man. He's a good athlete still, 39. But just about route running, because that's so critical. You know this. It's like just having just exploding out of the top of your route, not rounding it off, things like that. He seems to be very, very, he's very vigilant about those little things. And, and that could make a difference, for a guy like Justin Shorter getting open a little bit more. Xavier Henderson, I mean, if you really run the right routes and are sharp in doing that, as you know, that can get you the little bit of separation that you need.
Yeah, Kerry, as you said, was an NFL guy, had huge numbers at USC, but he's got his cleats on running routes. And it reminds me of Dwayne Dixon back in the day. Okay. People forget Dwayne Dixon under Spurrier had so many great receivers that he coached, but he used to get out there and run the routes and do everything with him because at that time, Coach Double D was still playing arena ball. So he would be like getting in shape to go play arena ball. So, but has anybody, because I've been to 3 practices, Edgar, and I went out there alone, but just watching the one receiver, and I've said it on my show a bunch, that has stood out to me and looks like the most polished receiver is Dejon Reynolds. Has his name been brought up at all in any of the press conferences?
It actually hasn't, but thanks for planting that seed. We get Napier tomorrow. I'll ask him about him. Because I've actually, Thomas Goldcamp at 24/7 Sports, who does such a great job and really good, keen observer. I mean, he goes out to practice and writes like 500 words. And I'm like sitting here, I mean, I couldn't write like a tweet. But I think his name's come up. So I will ask Billy about that. I'll add that to my list of things tomorrow. Because I wanted to ask him about special teams. That hadn't been talked about at all. Kerry Colbert brought up returners, Finley Graham, right? I think he's a guy who's a little bit intriguing. They're moving him into the slot. I mean, I expect Trent Whittemore to be pretty solid this year. I think you do too.
Yeah, Trent's a solid player. He's he's just a good football player. He's smart. He's going to catch everything. but he's not that
Good.
elusive guy that can go the distance.
No, but he's a really good athlete. When you talk to teammates, they're just like, man, this guy is like, I mean, explosive dunker and all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's so easy to forget, man. I was at Pro Day. Malik Davis was like 39.5 vertical and 10.7 broad jump. Now he ran a 4.71, which isn't very explosive and slower than I was expecting from him. But I'm just thinking, these athletic skills these guys have are so, you don't take it for granted because you were around the game so long, but the average fan just sits here and oh, he's no good. Or it's like these kids, man, are so talented athletically. I mean, it's beyond the scope.
That is very true. Speaking with Edgar Thompson here on the Titan Amara hotline, Edgar with the Orlando Sentinel. Hey, Edgar, let's switch gears real quick because we got about 7 minutes or so. I know you're a big golf fan. The Masters is my favorite sports event there.
I got my Tiger red on, man.
Well, speaking of Tiger, obviously it was great seeing him play yesterday. Maybe you need to get one of those hot pink mock turtlenecks now.
I can't pull that off. I mean, he's pretty put together. I don't think I'd sport that one.
So, I mean, it was great to see him. I mean, it's amazing what he did. I said earlier with JC, nothing against Tiger, but he was fortunate to shoot 1 under. I mean, he only hit 9 greens, and he got up and down. I don't know if you can continue doing that day after day at Augusta. He may do it again today, but it was just great seeing him on the golf course. How do you think he plays today?
I mean, it's unsustainable what he did yesterday, more than likely. 9 greens, as you pointed out. I covered the father-son that he played with his kid because that's in Orlando. He hit some shots there. He had a 5-wood on one hole, man. And Bones was playing in that group because he was with Justin Thomas. And I asked Bones about that shot particularly afterwards. He's like, man, like 5 guys in the world can hit that shot. I mean, he hit this cut 5-wood, like 265. I mean, like 8 feet. It was unbelievable. So the shots are still in there. I mean, he is a shot maker, Tiger. He's going to have to be today. I mean, the weather is really supposed to be intense this afternoon. It's going to be really windy. It's going to be like that day at the Players tomorrow, second round, whatever round it was. It was a Saturday when the first wave finally finished and went into that good day, if you recall. It was super chilly and blowing, man. That's going to be tomorrow, and it's going to start moving in this afternoon. So it's going to be very challenging conditions for the afternoon wave. The guys on the course getting on there right now are going to have a benefit from that, avoiding that. It's such a challenging golf course, man. I mean, it's like you got to land it. You have to be so precise. You can miss your spot by a couple of yards, Shane, and have a 55-foot putt with like 4 breaks to it. And if you're on your spot, you have a 12-footer that's very makeable because the greens are so pure. So they're not like, if you're in the right spot, they're good greens to putt, but it's hard to get in the right spot. And when the wind's howling like that, man, it's just going to intensify the challenge. But Tiger's pitching is just otherworldly, man. I mean, you go back on great short games through history, and I love the history of golf as much as anything. I'm really into the sport. I mean, you're like putting him in the league with Seve and Crenshaw, and Trevino had a magical short game. I mean, obviously Phil, Spieth. I mean, Spieth had a shot yesterday where he yanked a dang iron way left on 3, and then he hit this pitch. I don't know if you saw this thing. I mean, he hit it, and it was like 20 feet at least left of the flag, and then he had it on a string where it just came down the hill. He missed the putt. It was like a 4 or 5 footer. It's unbelievable the shots some of these guys can hit, and Tiger's right there. I mean, he hit some pitch shots yesterday that just you just can't even fathom them, what he's doing. The spin he's putting on that ball and figuring out the slope and how to use it, it's unreal.
It really is. At Chris Doring Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today at 352-244-0840. Edgar, have you ever played Augusta National?
No, I've not been fortunate. I covered one Masters in 2011 and didn't even put in my name in the lottery. I can't remember exactly why. I think my game was struggling pretty badly, so I wasn't like running to go play that course. But Mark Long has played it. I think he said he shot 95, which is respectable, because he said he had like 5 4-putts. And Ben Volan, who used to cover the Gators, and I worked with in Palm Beach, now Boston Globe. Ben played it and said, I hit the ball. I rose to the occasion. Like I hit the ball better than I maybe ever hit it. He had 6 4-putts, shot 96. Oh. So that is a tough course for anyone like us who doesn't, even with a caddy, they give you a caddy. The guy's like, hit it here. And you can't trust it. And then you get a 4 or 5 footer and you like try to limp it to the hole and it rolls by 4 feet and then you limp it back and you got a 4-putt on your hands.
Yep. No question about it. Hey, Edgar, I saw a thing on Twitter yesterday and they listed all the major Power 5 schools and they had the greatest golfer from each school. Who would you say the greatest golfer for the Florida Gators would be?
Andy Bean.
I'll tell you. Okay, they have Mark Calcavecchia listed.
Oh, no, he'd be him, Calc. 13 majors.
Would be Calc.
13 wins, a major, and he had 27 runner-ups. Plus, he holds like a scoring record. I mean, he shot like a 28 or 7 for 9. He had like a record for a while with 8 straight birdies, maybe. I mean, Calc was an explosive player. If that guy just closed another 5 or 6 of those 27 runner-ups, I mean, he might be in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, he was a player, man.
Okay, so then I looked over here at who they had as the greatest golfer from Texas. I don't agree with what they have.
I mean, Ben Crenshaw won 3 NCAA championships and 19 and 2 Masters. So Tom Kite Tom Kite is up there too. Who'd they have?
Jordan Spieth.
I mean, Spieth, what's he got? 13 wins and 3 majors. I mean, it'd be easy to put him on there too. I think Crenshaw still, because of the NCAA championships, 2 Masters, 19. But I mean, Spieth, you can easily argue for him. I mean,
yeah, I guess so. I was thinking Ben Crenshaw. I thought he won more majors than what you mentioned.
No, he won 2 Masters, 84 and 95. That's it.
All right, Edgar. Well, what you writing? What's good stuff our people can listen to? Or
I wanted to bring this up. I want to bring this up. I'm working on a story right now, and some people have written it to some degree too. I've been mining it for about a week on player experience. Billy Napier came in here and really wants to make this a very player, oriented, friendly program, which you think would make sense. I mean, right? It's about the players. He's making it all about the players. He fast-tracked a program to get their parking issues improved because that's been a huge issue on campus forever, going back to your days here and before that even. I mean, these guys were getting hundreds of dollars of parking tickets, I mean, they want to park under the stadium. I mean, they're late. Or Kingsley, the center, I can't try to pronounce his last name, guy's like in a protective boot and he's having to walk a mile. He's like, screw this, I'm parking under the stadium. $700 later in parking tickets, right? So the food is improved immensely. The Gator Made program, which is helping with life skills and helping, think about life beyond football. Just these little things that Napier's implementing. I mean, look at this thing he's doing. It seems excessive, but they are like carting guys or busing them to practice like every day from the stadium. It sounds ridiculous, but that's like, go walk that. That's like 500, yards probably roughly. And you're doing that back and forth before and after practice. Now, for me at 160 pounds or whatever, I mean, no big deal. But if you weigh 320 and you just practice for like an hour and 2 hours, that's hard on your legs, man. And Napier's just doing these things that, I mean, they come with a cost, obviously, but Scott Strickland has invested in Billy Napier and is letting him run this program however he sees fit. And once that standalone facility is in place, all that stuff will be eliminated anyway, parking, food, etc. But he's getting ahead of the chains on that and really trying to make this experience one that, the players enjoy and that he can sell the guys he's about to start getting to come here.
Yeah, it's amazing, in my opinion, Edgar, what he has done in the short period of time that he's been here. Just as you just mentioned, all those changes for the players. And it may sound silly, but when other schools have those things or doing those things, it makes a difference, especially when it comes to recruiting. And I think he's got them headed in the right direction, and especially when they move into that facility. I think, has they given a concrete date? I want to say it's supposed to be sometime in June, right?
No, Scott Strickland last week, I spoke with him just about I wrote a story last week about just the process of hiring 3 new coaches in 4 months. A lot of pressure on those hires, obviously. He's tying the Gators' future in his own really to those. But yeah, Scott said by the end of June, they would move in. One at the end of June, like June 30th, whatever, that's the date. But one other observation real quickly, I know we're running out of time, we'll make. Billy Napier's staff is super impressive. He is putting out a lot of people in front of us. I mean, behind the scenes people. I mean, we talked to Savannah, Bailey the other day. I mean, she's like one of the smartest people I've ever encountered. This woman was so on point. There was no pausing and umming and this and that. I mean, you ask her a question, she's like, just nails it. I said, would you get a degree in microbiology? I mean, she's really bright. A lot of these people you talk with, man, Piegler yesterday, the tight ends coach, super smart guy. They're all just really impressive, poised people. We talked to his NIL guy yesterday. We've been talking to a lot of these folks, and to a man and woman, I've been impressed. He's really put together I keep using the word impressive, but the staff, like I said, to a person, I've walked away and gone, God, that person's got something to them.
Yep, I agree 100%. Edgar, great stuff as always, buddy. We appreciate your time. Enjoy the Masters this weekend.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Have a good weekend.
That's Edgar Thompson. Hope you enjoyed today's program. I want to thank JC and Edgar joining us on the Titan Tomorrow Hotline. Have a great weekend, folks. We'll recap everything that happens on campus this weekend and the Masters on Monday. This show is done on this Friday. Take care. We'll see you Monday.
1st and 10. Matthews, near side, wide open, Alonzo Sullivan. He may go. Touchdown, Gators.